Let's talk about nutrition. I find that this is a topic that so many people have problems with either understanding or receiving the right information. There's a lot of stuff out there online, on TV, and a lot of it's misleading or just inaccurate. So I want to cover my top 10 tips to help transform your body with nutrition. The first thing you need to realize is that nutrition is not a one-size-fits-all. It's definitely a trial and error to find out what things work for you versus what works for somebody else. So guys, keep that in mind as you try new things, but you need to give it a reasonable time to see if your body responds to it, like a week or 2 weeks of doing something very specifically and see how you feel. Do you feel bloated? Do you feel like you have more energy? Do you feel like you're sluggish? You need to pay attention to those things to see how your body truly responds. Tip number 1, drink more water. Guys, you need to stay hydrated. The more water you drink, the more water you flush out. It's gonna help lean you out faster, and it's probably the easiest thing to implement in this entire list. So give that a shot, drink more water. Normally I recommend drinking about half your body weight in ounces of water a day, but I'm actually recommending closer to your body weight in ounces of water each day to lose weight. And water is a great substitute for things like sports drinks and sodas and all those things that contain calories and sugars that are unnecessary. So instead of drinking those drinks, replace them with water. The one interesting thing about water is if you're dehydrated, you essentially shut off your metabolism. And if you're trying to lose weight, that's the one thing you don't want to do. So drink plenty of water and you won't have to worry about it. Guys, tip number 2, no more processed foods. Processed foods can cause inflammation in the body and they can cause you to overeat. So avoid those and stick with whole, fresh foods. And processed foods contain high amounts of high fructose corn syrup and sugar. Both you definitely want to avoid if you want to lose weight. In fact, tip number 3 is avoid high fructose corn syrup and sugar. Guys, those things are triggering your body to eat more. You essentially store that as body fat. It converts to body fat. So you definitely want to avoid those items that contain those things. Some people even say that sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. And if that's true, guys, you definitely need to stop yourself from starting or it's going to be hard to stop. Tip number 4 also kind of blends with this whole sugar thing. A lot of people that decide they want to try to bulk with foods like candy and donuts and pastas and pizzas. Guys, keep in mind that when you do that, it actually raises your estrogen in your body, making it really hard to burn body fat. So avoid those foods even if you're trying to bulk. If you're trying to bulk, then eat the clean foods. Eat the carbohydrates that you need, the complex carbohydrates, and eat a surplus of those. But avoid the stuff like pizza and donuts and sodas and all those things. Tip number 5, good carbs are good, bad carbs are bad. There's a lot of debate out there whether people should have carbs or should not have carbs or what type of carbs or when to eat carbs, and I get it, it can be really confusing. So I'll lay this out, guys. Avoid the processed foods, avoid the processed carbs. Bad carbs are bad. I'd avoid things like white rice, white bread, white pasta. All those things convert to sugar, which converts to fat. So avoid those things. Stick with clean carbs. Stick with the carbs like fibrous carbohydrates, like your veggies. That's an awesome source of fiber and a great source of the carbohydrates that you need for energy. Even carbohydrates like brown rice and rye and oats, those are great. And I recommend having those earlier in the day so your body has a chance to use those. And I recommend having carbohydrates about an hour before you work out. That's going to give you energy for the entire workout. And tip number 6, you do not need snack food for your snacks in the day. Guys, a lot of people think about what they're going to have between their bigger meals, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, and they turn to these things that they consider are snack foods, like chips and crackers and cookies and that sort of thing. Guys, media and marketing and all those larger companies are trying to sell you carbs in a bag and call it snack food. That's not the case. Every meal in a day is still a meal, which means you can have proteins and carbs and a healthy balance at every single time you eat. And that's going to be the best way to keep that metabolism firing, to keep you healthier. And while I'm on that topic, guys, breakfast food can also be your chickens, your steaks, your proteins and carbs. It doesn't need to be oatmeal and eggs and bacon or cereal. Just keep in mind that foods are still fuel. And so eat those meals when you need those meals. And that includes breakfast, so don't skip that. Tip number 7, eat protein with every single meal. Guys, that means you're not having carbs with just carbs and fats. That means you're having protein along with the carbohydrates or the fats. That's going to help keep you full longer, and it's going to be the building blocks for muscle, which is what you need for a strong, fast metabolism. Number 8, the big debate between vegetables and fruits. I know you've always heard that fruits and vegetables are going to be what's really important for your diet. Between the two of them, vegetables always trump the fruits, okay? Especially if you're trying to lose weight. Fruits have carbohydrates, they also have some sugars. They can be beneficial, but if you have to have them, then either have them right before or right after a workout when your body can utilize those sugars for nutrient transport. If you're looking to lose weight, then I'd avoid the fruits right now and stick with your vegetables, which you should be having at least 5 or 6 times throughout the day. Guys, tip number 9, stop eating until you're uncomfortable. I know you were taught to clear your plate with every meal you eat, but guys, when you eat to the point where you're past comfortable, you're already too full to be consuming more food. Your body doesn't know what to do with it. Most likely, that's going to go into storage. So eat until you're about 80% full, and you're going to be able to utilize those nutrients much more effectively. All right, tip number 10. I know a lot of you guys aren't going to want to hear this, but if you want to lose weight, you really need to avoid alcohol. I know social parties in this time of year, you're going to want to gather with friends and family. You might have a couple drinks. And if you really need to have those things socially, keep in mind that you really should focus on your goal. But if you need to have them, then I really encourage you to rehydrate. As you heard earlier, when you're dehydrated, which is what alcohol does to you, your body shuts off its metabolism so it can focus on other processes like getting the alcohol out of your body. So if you need to drink, if you need to have alcohol, then substitute water with a couple of drinks or just alternate with the water. Plus, the next day, you're gonna really wanna rehydrate to restart that metabolism as fast as possible. Well guys, those are my top 10 tips to implement into your routine to see some real changes with your body this season. So give those a shot, leave a comment below or hit that like button if this was helpful. And don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see my videos as soon as I release those. And guys, if you're interested in online training, check out my website, nickboltonfitness.com. Hit that online training tab. You'll see more information on there and how I work with people on an ongoing basis with their nutrition to help them see some real changes. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.